Yep. Going to be a good weekend, and we got a busy show, so let's dive into our first topics. A quick reminder that the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show is sponsored by FanDuel. You guys know I love sports. I love them so much. I never want them to stop, but as the playoffs wind down, we get fewer and fewer games, and sports just aren't sportsing like I want them to. But FanDuel lets me keep the sports going whenever I want. All I have to do is open the app and dream up bets anytime I'm in the mood. And this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right, there's something for everyone every day all summer long. So head over to FanDuel.com/UCSS and start making the most out of your summer. FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball, the official sportsbook of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. And today's winning ticket comes from our guy, Matt Kolker, from earlier this week, who hit a multi-game, same-game parlay with a couple different homers. And he turned $10 into $591 because Bryce Harper, Aaron Judge, and Shohei Ohtani all homered on the same night, and he bet on that. So shout out to Matt Kolker for a huge win there, winning $591. But, Jay, we are going to start with a little bit of Cavs rookie Jaylon Tyson's comments from his opening introductory press conference yesterday. He has a huge personality. Cleveland fans and media members are going to love this guy. And he had two quotes in particular that stood out to me yesterday. So we're going to play both of those quotes, and then we're going to discuss which one is more possible as a rookie. His first quote, he was asked about what he wants to accomplish and what boxes he wants to check during his rookie season. Steve, let's hear from Jaylon Tyson.
You mentioned multiple times how you checked all the boxes in the evaluation process and that. So as you come into the NBA and this team, what part of your game do you feel that or know that you need to elevate?
I want to be an all-defensive player for a rookie year. That's my goal. If I do that, now you're talking about every box being checked right there. That's every box, right? That's the biggest thing I'm going to work on. I'm going to work my tail off to be able to accomplish that goal, because when I have goals, I'm looking to set them. I'm not just setting them just to try to find a goal, you know. I'm actually trying to hit these goals, so that's my biggest goal.
So all defense is one goal. Another goal that Jaylon Tyson mentioned in his introductory press conference yesterday is being a contributor on a championship team. Steve, let's hear from the Rook.
How do you see yourself fitting in with this group that made the playoffs?
Man, I want to win a championship. Honestly, I want a ring first year. That'll be something. A lot of people don't get to say that, you know. So the role piece, I just want to be a part of a winning culture. That's what I want to do. Obviously, I want to play, right? But I know that takes time. And obviously, throughout my course, I understand it takes time to be able to do that, right? So just learning how to be a professional, you know. That's the biggest thing I can say right now. I can't tell you what the future looks like because I don't know. This is new to me, right? But I'm looking forward to winning. That's the biggest thing.
He says he wants to make all defense as a rookie and be a contributor on a championship team. Earl J, which one is more likely to come true during Jaylon Tyson's rookie season?
First of all, bless his heart.
Great guy.
He won the news conference.
Yeah.
We got to get the guy a hat that fits, though.
Yeah.
And that lid was a little oversized, I believe.
I mean, but they overcompensated because he has the man bun, so it's like.
So they gave him room for the hair.
Give him a little room for this.
I love that kid.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's a bit naive, but that's okay. I mean, look at when LeBron had already been in the league 6 years. He went down to Miami, and in his introductory, he said, "Not one, not two, not three." That looked ridiculous, and he had been around the block. So naivete is fine.
I like his confidence.
I like the confidence too.
I like it.
Do you think that either of those are, well, like to Mike's question, which of those two statements, he wants to be all defensive team or win a championship in his first year, which are more likely to come true?
I think for me, the one that's more likely to come true is him making the all-defensive team.
Really?
Yeah, I think that that's an individual goal, right? He has no control over roster construction. He has no control. If you look at the Cavaliers as a team and how we're currently constructed, I don't really think that we're a squad that can go win an NBA championship right now, today, next year.
You don't?
I don't, but that's an individual goal that he set out, and if he works hard at it, if he puts in the work, train, and he changes whatever his technique is, and that's something that he really commits himself to, I just think it's easier to accomplish an individual goal like that when there's so.
That's a lofty goal.
Yeah, but there's so many variables outside of your control when it comes to winning an NBA championship.
What he plays? What, shooting, a small forward shooting guard, right?
He's a 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you playing a 2 or 3, I'm just give him a little heads up. So one day you got Durant. The next day you got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. The next day you got Luka. The next day Luka and Kyrie. Then you got forget about it. We got Jalen Brunson and them boys. Then you go and you got Steph. If you playing anywhere in a backcourt where you got Tatum and Brown and Maxey, and these dudes is the dudes that you are seeing day in and day out, they gonna have some shots that you ain't gonna see. You gonna be on people the closest you've ever been in your life with a shot hand, and they still gonna hit it, and you're gonna be like, what the heck league am I in? That is the NBA. I like the fact that he wants to be a defensive player, because I think a lot of players can come in the league and they forget that you got to pick something. Draymond Green said this, like you got to pick one thing and be great at that one. Just pick it and be great. That's how you differentiate yourself. And I like the fact that he's not taught offensively right now, because he knows what it looks like offensively. He knows Donovan Mitchell and all these guys are going to get shots. He's not. But that's not happening. All defensive teams, you got to get a lot of playing time. You got to get minutes. You got to be impactful, and you got to be getting minutes on a championship team. To do it as a rookie, I say no. Think about how great Evan Mobley was defensively, and he didn't even win it. Right?
Sure.
So I think the closest that they could possibly come to is a championship. And like Earl said, that's like a 5%, 4% chance if they maximize free agency and get all the trades they need. So I think I'm going to go with the championship. I just don't. It's too hard to crack the lineup when you're a rookie.
I'm a little more optimistic on the championship than 4 or 5%. Let's review. The Cavs played this defending, now they are the defending world champion Boston Celtics as close as anybody. Now, there's not a consolation prize for that, and it doesn't mean you're the second best team, but they also did so, and I know that Boston was missing a piece in Porzingis, but they did so without Jared Allen for the entire series and without their clearly leader and best player in the deciding game, in Game 5. So, after watching the playoffs and taking a deep breath and seeing what the Cavs have done since their season ended, they fired their coach. We all thought that was necessary. They brought in a guy who is known for player development. In fact, we've had people come on this show. Fanta came on here and said, elite develop guy, elite. He has studied under, I think, the guy that is arguably in, if not the best coach in the NBA, top 3 in Steve Kerr.
I would agree with that.
So he's been in the lab with the genius. Now we've got him. And what we've said constantly, especially after the disappointment from 2 years ago when they lost to the Knicks, what we've said is, you can't run this back. We need a new voice. We need a new message. We need a new point on the horizon. We have that now. So when you take everything into account, they played the Celtics as well as anybody. And they did it with missing pieces. They've changed what everybody thought was probably the biggest issue with this team in the head coach. And I hope I'm not speaking for everybody on the panel, but I think that's what that was our consensus. I think JB was the guy that had to be changed.
But I also think that you have core pieces on this team that need to be changed too.
And that's fair. That's why I said the guy that I thought was the biggest piece that we all agreed upon. Before you do anything with the roster construction, I think we all agreed you need a new voice in the room. They have that. And by all accounts, he's a guy who can develop. We need that because Evan Mobley is the elephant in the room. His development will determine whether or not the Cavaliers can make a championship run with this roster. I don't know what percentage I'd place on it. 10 maybe?
I would have won.
But I'm going to give them more than 4 or 5.
I would have won with 10 if I wouldn't have saw what the Knicks just did.
Well, now that's a different... Look, we can only control what we can control. I mean,
right?
if you saw Stephen A's tweet from yesterday, he thinks that the Knicks have won the championship already. I will say this, though. Oftentimes, moves like that everyone thinks is going to change the power structure in a conference, they rarely do. Sometimes they do. Is this the guy that's going to change the power structure in the East? He's a piece. and he's a piece they need, and he fits with the rest of the puzzle pieces. But I'm still not ready to say that Boston's anything but the favorite coming back in the East. The other thing I would say in this discussion is if I'm going to handicap this young man's potential to be first team all NBA defense, I'm not putting that on the board. I don't think he has. Mike, am I wrong? Like, I love his confidence. I wish he would have said, over the course of my career, at some point, I'm going to make an all-NBA defense team. But the first year, is he going to start?
No, he won't start. No.
How are you going to make the all-NBA defensive team if you're not starting?
I mean, it's very difficult, yeah.
So what would you handicap his chances of making the all-defensive team?
I mean, I think realistically speaking, both are extremely low chances of happening.
But which one is higher? If you're Vegas and you've got to set odds here.
I would actually probably say winning a title is slightly higher because I think the Cavs, despite having roster flaws, it's not a perfect roster by any means.
No, it's not.
And other teams certainly being above them in the pecking order right now.
Right.
It would be less surprising to me to see the Cavs gel in a way we haven't envisioned yet and winning a championship at
Well, we did see it, though,
maybe
Mike.
7 or 8%.
We saw them gel last year.
No, that's actually probably high.
Oh, that's real.
7 or 8%.
Okay.
And I think a guy coming off
I
the
don't
bench
think you can give him a 1% chance of getting all-NBA
I would
defense.
say 3 or 4% tops.
Wow, that blows me away that you would
Tops.
say this kid has
Nah.
a 3 or 4%
Well, because
chance.
defense is more effort than it is skill.
I understand that, but you can't give effort if you're sitting on the bench.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. It's very low. But when he is on the court, and listen, Jaden Daniels made all defense last year. He played 28 minutes a game, so you don't have to be playing 45 minutes a game.
No, but do you see him getting 28 minutes a game on this team?
Off the bat, no, and probably not. But let's not pretend that if he comes in and plays well, there aren't minutes at the position he plays.
Oh,
They're
no.
certainly up for grabs.
That's a fair point, and that's a
So-
good point. I like that point.
But I mean,
The opportunity for him is there.
exactly.
I have one question. I wasn't here after the draft, so I didn't talk to you about this. Put my mind at ease on the 3 teams in 3 years.
He talked about it yesterday.
I know he did. I didn't like his answers.
I don't have all the exact details.
Right.
But
And there's probably 2 sides to all 3
and
stories.
Jason gave us a little more context on it yesterday, and I hope I'm repeating this how he said it, but he committed to Texas first. Mm-hmm. Then there was the whole Chris Beard situation.
Yep.
So then he goes to Texas Tech. If I'm remembering exactly what Jason said, the coach at Texas Tech and him didn't see eye to eye, and there were some words exchanged, and then he went to Cal where he got under Mark Madsen and then flourished. So
Yeah.
the first transfer was coach leaves. All right, I committed to Chris Beard. He's out. I want to go play for a different coach because the head coach that recruited me is no longer at Texas. And then it's really one transfer.
So how many alarm bells are going off for you on the transfer, the second transfer to Cal? Words were exchanged, didn't see eye to eye with
you were
the
here
coach.
yesterday. Jason, I don't want to say something I'm not 100% on.
I get it.
Ask Jason, but apparently there was something said that
Because he
coach-
seems to be a great
a
citizen,
coach should
doesn't
have
he?
said.
Yeah,
You were here yesterday. Is that what
Jason alluded
said?
to it. I think a couple other people had alluded to it that reported on this, but when he was wherever he was, there was a racial incident that took place
Right.
that prompted him to transfer immediately. And then, how he ended up at Cal, he followed whatever coach that went to Cal, and he had a breakout season.
Well, Madsen was highly recommended
By one of his teammates.
by one of his
at Texas
teammates.
Tech, yeah.
And so I get that. Look, there might be absolutely nothing to it at all. It's just, it's one thing that I'm sure the Cavs had to dig into because there are alarm bells. I think his explanation, or no, it was Kobe's explanation was, well, that's college today. That's the NIL. You can do that. But not everybody transfers 3 times or 2 times in 3 years.
Here's where I come out on it. Look, I try to look at this, and this is the way I do with draft picks. This is just what but everybody has, and I tweeted this. Everybody has their thoughts about who they would have taken at that situation or wherever what they would have picked, right? For me, I always say you should get an opportunity to prove what your game is looking like. So whatever you was doing before, that don't matter no more. We about to see what your game talking about right now, starting that summer league. So I'm going to give you an opportunity. I ain't going to sit up here and be like, oh, my goodness, this guy can't play. I don't like this. There's a lot of different things that you're like, okay, well, I would have wanted a different route. But at the end of the day, I give you the benefit of the doubt and go out there and prove what you can.
So you've opened your mind because the night of the draft, you were like, he's just a guy.
I mean, listen, to me, I think the thing that stands out to me is like they won like 2 games. They had a bunch of walk-ons.
Yeah.
He has the ball in his hand at all times.
Right.
He gets to shoot. He does a lot of things. And I always said, when you are playing, the best time of my life is when I was a sophomore playing varsity sports because there's no expectations.
Sure.
Money. It's house money. I'm good. I don't got to play well. I ain't going to get no shots. But if I put up 16, that's great. That's nice. But if I put 16 up and I'm the man, you got a problem.
Yeah.
So my thought was, hey, there's some different things. I do like some of the parts of this game. You can shoot a little bit. But, hey, it's about saying what you're going to do. The Summer League is coming very quickly. If you want that Defensive Player of the Year award,
I like how he talks.
Get ready.
I really like how he talks. I think like
I do too.
See it, speak it, believe it. And
Sure.
I think that when you kind of speak positivity into existence, good things happen.
I agree with that
And
100%.
When you come out off the bat
I've
talking
seen you
about
do that in your life, Earl.
there it is.
I've
right?
seen it.
So when you come out off the bat and you say, hey, I want to win a championship as a rookie. I want to make the NBA all-defensive team. Understanding what your Achilles heels is, defense. Understanding what parts of your game that you need to work on. Things like that. It says that this man is self-aware. It says that he is very confident. He also said in that news conference yesterday that, when he went to Cal, he expected to have a breakout season, and he did so. This is a dude that Kobe Altman said when he came in and he did his workout, he took his workout very, very serious. And he used words like love and passion when he described like his relationship with basketball.
That's what it has to be.
And I think all of us that's sitting on this panel can relate to that. When you really, really love something, it's something that you would do when you're in your worst mood, and if they're not even paying you for it, you'll probably still do it anyway.
Yeah.
Right? And that's how much he seems to love the game. And when you get somebody like that on this team that already has that mindset and that attitude, and you got a guy like Donovan Mitchell in your locker room, it's only going to help this dude develop and grow. And you said something about Kenny Atkinson, elite player development.
Yeah.
That's why I believe his self-confidence plus willing to work, plus the coach that's willing to develop,
Exactly.
can get him to the point that he wanted to be at on the defensive side of the ball.
Before we wrap this, I don't think anybody would disagree with this. The kid won the news conference.
He did.
I mean,
He did.
I thought he did. Mike, how did you think he did? Do you think he
Crushed it.
I thought he's very likable.
Yeah, he
he's a
is.
very easy to root for, and let's hope the Cavs have something here because they need something here.
Well, Kobe did say that, when he looked at him as in comparison to what this team needs at pick 20,
Right.
he has an NBA body, a guy that can step in and can contribute right away. And so I think, like Mike said, he has the opportunity. He won't start off getting many minutes, but I think he has an opportunity to earn a lot of playing time. And if he handles his business, I think everybody in the city would be happy.
I think if he does get playing time, I think this is the kind of guy that can quickly become a fan favorite.
Yeah.
Just because you know he's going to give Max Everett. Look how we got our teeth into Dellavedova. Why? Because that dude would run through a brick wall for
Like
a loose
Andy.
ball.
Think about Andy.
Exactly.
When Andy was here.
Exactly. And I think he has all of the characteristics to become a spark plug off the bench at first and a real fan favorite and a guy that can give his lineup a jolt when he comes into the game. All right, Mike.
Yeah, if you want to